Five, four, three, two, one. All right, guys, welcome to the show. It's a great looking crowd out there tonight in the Ideas Room. I hope you are doing well. Welcome, Wizard, Warrior, Wanderer, Wayfarer, and Wildcat alike. Whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission, I hope you are doing well. I'm broadcasting to you today from Twilight Zone Old Peking, deep within the central kingdom of the Celestial Dragon. Your host for the hour, Freighter Francis Lunas Aristeas of the OTA, Frank Monday, coming at you straight out the ghetto, baby. I hope you guys are doing all right today. A lot of breaking news out there in Happy Land. I want to check my sound quality feedback. A lot of breaking news out there in Happy Land. I want to check my. Yeah, looking good. I can hear it on the YouTube. Nice sunny day. Free gift from God. Greetings. Good to see you, man. Can you hear me okay? Let me turn down the exhaust fan a little bit. I run the exhaust fan. A lot of chirping. Let me see. Let me see if I can control that chirping a little bit. I'm not exactly sure why there's so much echo out there. I do have the Bluetooth headset in. Um, how's everything going out there in Happy Land, guys? You guys doing all right, man? That sun is really bright today. It is 1 p.m. here in Twilight Zone, Old Peking. Let me see if I can't close the blind there. Hear that little dog outside barking? Funny thing, whenever I go live, everything starts to fire off. Maybe it's that you notice it more, like when you're doing something that requires some sensitivity to sound, but it just seems like everything starts going ape shit once you fire up a live stream. Like I'll wait until I think everything's really peaceful and copacetic and perfect, and not perfect. Obviously, if you wait for things to be perfect, you'll never get anything done. Just get it done. That's all that matters, right? You try to strive for perfection and do your best, obviously. But if you strive too much for those perfect conditions, you're just never going to get them. So you go every day. It's like surfing. When you're a surfer, when you grow up a surfer like I did, uh, like you're always hoping there's going to be good waves, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to go surfing unless there's good waves. But you're going to have to go 10 or 15 times, maybe 20, before you get one good session in. And so it requires so much like effort and financing that I don't, most people, unless they live at the beach, cannot maintain, like even living, I only lived 15 or 20 minutes from the beach, but even then you start to just feel like, oh my God, why am I even going to do it? Is it even worth driving down to the beach to try to get in and once they started charging for parking, like at Huntington, then it was game over. State parks should be free. We're already financing them through tax dollars, and you shouldn't have to pay additional fees to hang out and surf. But they do that as a way to control the situation, I guess. Let me see. I'm going to double check this sound quality feedback because I don't see anything. Yeah, we're sounding good. Okay, I think. Let me listen to it for just a second. Then it was game over. State parks should be free. We're already financing them with tax dollars, and you shouldn't have to pay additional fees to hang out and surf. But they do that as a way to control the situation, I guess. Let me see. I'm going to double check this sound quality feedback because scratched my forehead when I was washing my face a second ago. Yeah, we sound good. Not to worry. Let's see if that sounds any better. I guess with the I guess when I have the video running, I can hear the echo on the playback. Anyway, I wanted to do this one. It says Frank Monday is live, but I wanted to fire up one as a test stream before I switch over to the laptop. I've got it here on the phone right now. I wanted to see if anybody out there in Happy Land was interested in collaborating on a live stream. Just talk about, whatever, anything and everything. Maybe do a paranormal podcast. Maybe because honestly, I think in these trying times of wars and rumors of wars, and of course, what we see playing out uh, in Europe and everyone over there that's being touched, Finland, Denmark, Sweden, the UK, including England, Scotland, and Ireland. I don't think Wales has seen any of it yet, but these political maneuverings that we see playing out with the likes of what are we even going to call them? The Illuminati, right? The Y Files did a video the other day. If you guys don't know it, definitely check it out. The Y Files. Let me put it in the chat here. AJ and Hecklefish over at the Y Files. They did a video called The Illuminati Part 1, and Wikipedia. Uh, what did Wikipedia do? Oh, YouTube slapped a Google Wikipedia fact check on there about what the Illuminati is. And I thought, no, that's not what it is. They do a very brief synapse of what they think it is. Let me see if maybe I can scroll over there to it really quick. Now, I'm not going to use the laptop too much because trying to open up too much on the laptop while I'm streaming will cut my stream in half and really make everything kind of crash. But I like to do these ones off my phone first to drum up and see if there's any interest out in Happy Land. What about you, Free Gift from God? Or if you're out there in Happy Land, are you interested in doing a quick um, live stream with me? I got about an hour here, man, before I need to get busy doing other things. I thought, no, that's not what it is. They do very brief synapse of what they think it is. Let me see if maybe I can scroll over there too. Now, I'm not going to use the laptop too much because, yeah, sound quality sounds pretty good right now, as far as I could determine from checking on the laptop, checking the feed. So I'll work minute by minute. I'll try to check in on the laptop every so often to see if everything's transmitting correctly. Uh, so updates and errata, right? Updates and errata. I went to a vacation spot here in China that is known as Bishu Shanzhuang. So it's a park. It took about, oh no, I better not touch that thing, man. Last time I did that, the audio cut out. So it's a park that is meant for the Yellow Emperor. It's like a lake park, and it's nearby Beijing. It's about a 2 hour drive. So, 100, probably more than 100 kilometers, 120, something of that nature, where the Yellow Emperors would all go and hang out during their reign during the summertime because it's cooler there. There's lakes and ponds and rivers and hills. And so they built some pavilions and palace settings for him to go chill with his entourage. And the two guys pictured here are Qianlong and Kang Shi. So I'm not sure if these are Qin Dynasty guys. It seems like they are. It seems like that's when they built it during the last kind of empire of China before it turned over to a modern style of governance, which I don't really think it's very modern. In fact, it's still very imperial. But there is Kang Shi. So he's, I believe he was a Mongolian dude that came down and conquered, and Qianlong possibly as well. Huh? I have to double check the history on those. But on the back of the fan, so it's a paper fan, very nice. Only 10 kwai, about $1.50 US, something like that. That's what I paid for it. It's made of bamboo, and it's got some, high quality photo printed stuff on there. This isn't hand drawn, obviously. Uh, but on the back there, it's got like the whole reign of emperors of the Qin dynasty. I think those are all Qin dynasty dudes. I might be wrong. I'd have to ask someone who knows because I can't remember. Not right off the top of my head, anyway. Yeah, it's got the years that they reigned. Let's see. Okay, so it goes from 1600, which would be like the end of the Ming Dynasty. So 1626, 1616, 1644, 1662, 1617, 23, and then I'll just jump around, and then 1851. Yeah, so coming into the modern era, and then the last one, I think, 1909. That was looks like there's a few females in there. Maybe these are all the wives. Are these wives? Okay, it's got both a picture of the emperor and the empress on it. Very interesting. Yeah, so the top guy is the emperor, and then the one below him is his empress. Wow, real color shift there. All right, free gift from God is back in the ideas room. Good to see you again, sir. I hope you are doing well out in Happy Land. How's everything? How's everything out there with you, man? The Jersey Devil, right? It is 85 degrees Fahrenheit here in Beijing today, and it says there's fog. Yeah, I can kind of feel that rolling in. I don't know if that will or will not affect the temperatures here, but hopefully it'll drop a little. That seems a little lower, 85. Today, according to the Chinese lunar solar calendar, it is the start of autumn. So that's fun. Um, so we'll start to see autumn-like conditions here in the northern hemisphere, especially as far north as we are. I think we're like at 33 degrees on the measurement there on the map system, whatever map systems you might be using. I do see that it is pushing into the midnight hours there in the States. We've got uh, midnight and a quarter in Memphis, Tennessee, 11:15 in Denver, Colorado, and 10, nearly 10:15, 10:13 in Los Angeles, California. So it is evening hours for all of you guys out there. If you're far East Coast, it may be even a little later, like a little after 1 a.m. All right. So depending on where you are receiving this, if you're receiving it live, then that would be the time frame. 1:13 p.m. here in Twilight Zone, Old Peking. So, free gift from God down in the ideas room. He says, "I'm here now, not doing good." He says, "Vampiric magic, vampire in heaven." Yeah, you got to watch out for those vampires, man. They are they're parasitic, right? Um, and I guess it depends on the level of the vampire, like whether or not like it's a vampire spawn or a young vampire or a highly achieved elder vampire. Oh, you're thinking about shifting occupations? Um, no, I don't want any life insurance. Thank you. My life insurance is Tao. So I'm trying to cultivate my internal energies to create spiritual beings and a spiritual vehicle that I can transfer my life force to ultimately. And hopefully, but yeah, I know you are. I know you are. And I'm just responding in turn. Um, and hopefully that spiritual energy will surround and embrace me so that I can achieve some sort of spiritual immortality on my own with aid of the divine forces, of course, but done through internal alchemy. So um, I wouldn't buy into a life insurance program, although I would do it for others. I would do it for those close to the threshold, like whether it be a parent or an uncle, brother, sister, whoever, right? Like if you can foresee their impending demise, then you should probably take out a policy because then you won't be paying into it very long, and you get a nice payoff at the end. I've seen other people do that, and I think that that would be a pretty good gamble because anyone who's got even a modicum, is that the right word? Yeah, modicum of enlightenment is going to be able to see clearly the way things are going for most people. And if you're like me and you've studied the Chinese Book of Changes, known as the I Ching, for how long have I been studying it? Since I was probably 15 or 16, religiously. So I'm 51 now. So that's 14, 15, 35 years. Con Confucius said it takes about 50 years to master the Book of Changes, but that means I'm pretty close. I'm intermediate level on seeing changing patterns. If you do study the Book of Changes, you will start to feel like I could tell you some very high level spiritual visions and revelations that I've had due, in part, I believe, to studying the I Ching, but also in being a natural psychic or a natural born magician. Hey, Carl Florin is out in the ideas room. Good to see you again, Carl. I hope you're doing well. I know sometimes you like to do panel chats, and you've been a big participant over there at the Clown King's Insanity Circus, right? So you I listened to. I'll give you if you're there, Carl. Say hello. Give me another shout back, another feedback echo. I listened to the like several hour long breakdown you and Steven did uh, after we had the one conversation that kind of had my dick in the dirt, so to speak. Um, Someone took the jelly out of my donut, right? I listened to the breakdown you guys did, and I thought, man, these guys think that they're top level uh, doctors of psychology, the way they're talking about me. And I thought it was pretty funny. But I have to give you mad props, Carl. Good, thank you. I'm glad you're listening, Carl Florin. I have to give you mad props because you stood on the side of intellectual inquiry and different deference. Is that the correct word? Um, and we're not completely bowled over by King Stephen's criticisms of me. You you argued in part on my behalf. You made some pretty ignorant assumptions about me too, but at the same time, like you were trying to be fair and balanced and not just be a sycophant and an apple polisher to King Stephen. And I thought that was good. I was giving you mad props. I listened to about, I don't know, probably close to 3 hours of it. And when I went in and started checking and found out that some of his streams go to 8 to 12 hours at a time, I thought, good God, I could never keep up with these guys. And so I just backed off. Like you probably know if you've listened to any of my videos at all, I'm a family man, number one. I'm a dad and a husband, but I'm also have a full time job in in an academy, and my job requires probably anywhere from 60 plus hours a week of my time in order, to fulfill my work duties. And I only do live streaming in my free time or making videos. I used to make a lot more videos, but like putting high level production value into videos, for me personally anyway, there was no reward, no payoff. Um, and there's I have a couple of pieces on here that were of high production value and worked with a production team and stuff. Like I worked with Troy's team and Lunar Light Entertainment. I created Lunar Light Entertainment, but I worked with Troy's team for a while. We did some really top shelf stuff, and none of it ever got more than 20 or 30 views. And I thought, this is never going to work. Like YouTube as a platform for me, anyway. Like, so I just do it for fun, right? Just for fun. Um, King Stephen would would poison the well and say that I'm doing it to beg shekels, but I'm not. Like, even I think the Buy Me a Coffee page that I used to use, I think that they cut it off now. Like they must have found out somehow that I'm in China, even though my bank account's in the US and my permanent address is in the US, and I would redirect any coffee funds I had to my US bank account. They told me that they said, due to the region in which you live, we are no longer able to provide service via Buy Me a Coffee. They said they were shutting it down within a month. So if you guys ever thought you might like to give me a little something, something, a little something, something in the tip jar, a Hamilton, a Benjamin, a Washington, even, there's only 1 month left to do that. They're going to turn it off. I think August 20th is what they said. So 2 weeks now, 2 weeks left on the Buy Me a Coffee page. But I'll keep it open because I put a lot of work into it. And so it has a lot of free content as well. And I'll keep it open anyway. Yeah, so I wanted to do a 10 to 15 minute test stream to see if anybody was interesting and having a live conversation. Carl, Free Gift from God, are either one of you guys available for a podcast style transmission? Because if so, I'll switch over to the laptop and I'll open up on StreamYard so that I can put a link in the so that I can put a link in the chat window, and then we can do some live banter, man. That's fun. That's what I'm in it for. I never even knew about these panel chats, man. I think it's good fun. Yeah. I detected. I listened carefully to like the quality of your words and the way you um maintained or attempted to maintain a high level of integrity and equanimity in the way you discussed ideas with him. Like, I'm a man of principles and ideas, and I'm more interested in esoteric and occult ideas rather than like personality politics or cult of personality. Obviously, most great movements are built up and around the cult of personality, and it requires kind of a flag bearer leader in order to move most programs along, because it requires an individual to work hard many years in order to derive even a small amount of wisdom and notoriety and skill level in certain things that people will uh, value and cherish their opinion. Like some of the orders that I followed, for example, one of the ones I followed when I was much younger was number one, the internal arts school, Kung Fu, and Qigong and meditation, Chinese internal arts school that I was a member of from my early teen years, 12, 13, to my early 20s. So about 10 years of hanging out with the guys at the Martial Arts Institute, Xingyi Martial Arts Institute. But from that, like I reached out and I found Master Ni Hua Ching in the publications of Seven Star Communications, their books, and read. The guy at the time, he probably had 50 or so books on Taoism, and I really got into that. And I read, all of Dr. Yang Guangjing's books and Mantak Chia, of course, and anybody and everybody who had information on the Taoist internal arts, because I really wanted to master those. I really wanted to understand them to a high level. In fact, it's what drove me to come to China. Is I wanted to be able to read the things they were quoting. They had, because they would all have Chinese quotes in them. They're all in English transliterations of the original Chinese, but I wanted to be able to read and understand the Chinese in context, in historic context, cultural context, and the linguistic energy of the thing in its original language without an English interpretation. And it's taken me essentially 20 years. Well, it took me about a decade of being here, but it took me about a decade before coming here in order to get my Chinese skill level and communication network up high enough and serviceable enough that I could come over here and study at a top university to get my language level up to that par that I could just sit down with a Taoist classic and read it and have an understanding. And yeah, even with that, even with 30 years of striving, I'm still a beginner. I'm still what they call Rumen, which means just entering the door of Tao. But at least I'm there and I'm knocking on the door. Like Master Ni, the analogy he used, he would say the seekers are beyond the courtyard. And now, when you've picked up the material and you've started reading, you've entered the outer courtyard, right? And there's a door to the temple. That's the first door. Once you get past that door, then there's the inner temple, the sacred of sacreds, right? The mystery of mysteries. And one day you will sit within the inner temple and enjoy all of the tools available to the wizard warrior of the mystery of mysteries. And that's what I've been seeking out as a young man. And having pursued that path with the childlike naivety of a beginner, I've embraced that. I still have it. Like, you can look at me at 51 and see that I'm still embracing my childlike nature of discovery and wonder, and I'm not one of those motherfuckers that think they know it all. I want to engage in actual spiritual experimentation and exploration with a community of like-minded individuals, because the past does not equal the future. And what worked for the guys who wrote all those 15th century manuscripts on magic isn't where we're at today. That's not going to serve our consciousness. So we need to bring those things forward. Yeah, we can talk astral magic. Good, a good topic. I love talking about astral magic. You know that I'm a longtime practitioner. I did the 100. That was one of my first 100-day challenges. Was Pathways of the Astral, and yeah, you know the 100-day challenge kind of, it's got a bit of a, because Frater Thomas Sund, my beloved brother in magic, because he started taking such a great interest in and participating in it with me, and we had planned this latest 100-day challenge, Way of the Scholar Warrior, to do together and collaborate. I love to have collaborators. I love to work on a team. Um, and he died like what, 3 days before we were supposed to get started. um, that kind of put a that took the jelly out of my donut too, because he was the only one other than you, Free Gift from God, and occasionally talking to Chris A from War of the Worlds 1947. He's made some great animation stuff. He made an animation for me. It's the turning record of the Lunar Light Entertainment logo. I used it on some of my videos. Um, Other than you guys and like Mary at Sea Level, there aren't anybody I communicate with on the internet. I told, and Carl, you guys had me totally mistaken. I told Steven this the first time I was on a show, that I had never experienced. You guys said over and over again that I lied, that I said I'd never live streamed. That was bullshit. I never said that. If you go back and watch the original video where I discussed it with them, I said I knew nothing about the panel verse and that I had never done panel chats, right? That was the thing. I had never seen it before. And seeing you guys do it on his channel and participating in one, it was my, that was the popping of my cherry. Absolutely. And then I jumped on that other guy's, what's his name, Jack Talcott. I jumped on his panel verse thing a couple of times, and those were the only two experiences I've ever had with it, because the only thing I've ever done is live stream interviews with me and Tomas, Frater Tomas. Have I done it? I've done one other interview with Occult Priestess on her channel, and I wanted to get, the whole reason I started live streaming is because I wanted to get, originally I wanted to get on The Dark Journalist, but he doesn't really interview anybody anywhere anymore. He used to, but he'll only interview like published authors and stuff like that, and they only want to talk about sci-fi fantasy. But since then, I've stopped watching DJ at Dark Journalist. If I'm going to watch a program like that that I can't participate in, might as well watch the Y Files. You know, the Y Files are far superior. So again, I need a yes or no from you guys. I'm reaching out. Does anybody want to do a live chat right now? We can chat about anything and everything. And if so, I will switch over to podcast style and restart the stream in StreamYard. Oh, guys, there's big fires on the West Coast right now. I don't know if either of you gentlemen are West Coast men, but Wrangler Star is out on the West Coast, Northwest United States, Oregon, I believe, or is he Oregon or Washington? He might be, no, I think he's Oregon. Um, but he's a homesteader, and they're having big fires out there right now. I think there's something like 5 or 10,000 acres in flame, and his homestead is threatened directly. I Okay, so Frater Carl says that he's not a panelverse dude either, but periodically comes on the Wicked Clown King's channel, right? The demon, and I have lots to say. Oh, really? On Dark Journalist, cool. Yeah. So, guys, I'll close this one because I've got it on my phone and I can't invite people to it because I streamed via the YouTube app, and I'll fire up the laptop, make sure that it's stabilized, and turn it on. And so stick around. I'll reboot and start a StreamYard because I have to like turn off my VPNs and reboot my laptop to make sure that everything's working clean, like shut all the other windows and stuff. And then, so give me about 5 or 10 minutes and I'll get that done. In fact, I can do most of the laptop stuff without signing off just yet. But yeah, if you guys are interested in a little pithy banter, I'm not going to set forth any rules because I know that everyone found that extremely odious. But I would say this as the only guideline rather than competition of ideas. Number one, I would reinforce Socrates' ideals, right? The least among us, petty minded men, the smallest men, right? The NPCs, they love to talk about people, about other people. So they engage in tons of gossip. The next level up, what they call the Genren or the True Beings, they will discuss major events, right? And then the highest among us, the wizard warriors, the sages, the king priests, they will only discuss ideas, right? So we should try to elevate ourselves out of the muck and mire and the sewage of mudslinging because people are just flashes in the pan. All of us, our individual lives, all of that is, and mentioning Socrates, that's, you know, that's on that level. But we need to get up to getting out of the muck and the mire of discussing other people and events and get to the level of ideas, right? We can use people and events as references, but we shouldn't make that the main focus of a spiritual or philosophical conversation. Spiritual exploration is done among like minded people who have worked hard to achieve some of the light within themselves, and they shouldn't, you know, sully that by getting involved in lower level politics. So, if that's the spirit, then I'm definitely on board for it. But when it just becomes mudslinging and nitpicking about, you know, oh my God, you believe that, you think that, rather than, oh, so I see how you think that, and I've experienced this, right? Let's elevate the thing. The the improv guys, they have a big handle on this type of communication. They do a little practice called yes and so if you've done any theater sports or improv training, then you'll be familiar with you've got three basic responses. You can say no, right? Deny someone's response and say no, that isn't it. It's this, right? And then the next level, a more mutable level, is you could say yeah, no, but right, and then this and that, and that's kind of mutable. And then following up from that is yeah, I can see that, but right, that's still the mutable negative, right? So you go from negative negative to positive negative, and then win positive positive is when you say yes and then you add a beneficial idea that brings the message forward. So that's the highest level of the equation there. If we understand that basic psychology of the situation of the four temperaments, right? The four elements, and we're adding the fifth element, the quintessence, right? The philosopher's stone, the plasma charge to everything the other person says. Yeah, good man, good man. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so then I will sign off on the YouTube app here on the phone, and I'll reboot, and we'll come back with the idea of astral magic, right? And astral travel and building the astral temple. Because I know Free Gift from God, he's been a long time listener and he appreciates that type of spiritual inquiry and discovery. And he knows I've done a lot of great work with it and working with like Frater Tomas, our hypnotherapist friend who recently passed into the abodes and beyond. How long has it been now? Because I got to wait 1 year before I start summoning his spirit for inquiry. But I'm going to do some necromancy in the future. I've got people to talk to that left this world with unfinished business and they got to provide answers, right? So it's been since March, April, May, June, July. Wow, only 4 months. Um, August, 5 months now. Not quite 5 months, just over 4 months. I love y'all, good looking, sexy people. I will, let me check this, a devotee secret, the truth and I treasure, good stuff. So give me about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to make a coffee and I'll reboot the transmission. I'll go ahead and set it up. I'll set up the live stream. I'll open the countdown, and then we'll do a good hour or so, man, maybe more. I can usually go about an hour before I start to feel tuckered out. But yeah, let's see how long we can do it. We'll come back with some astral magic and good looking out. Frater Francis, Jersey Devil, I hope you tune back in. Give me about 5 to 10 minutes to set everything up. Carl Florin, I'd love to see you there as well on the other side. And yeah, keep doing good magic, guys. And I'll see you briefly. Until then, bye for now.